Hey guys, welcome to the HYA podcast. It's the first of me being an introducer. But guess who we're introducing today? To my left, we got Barry Dowling. How you doing?
Good, Arian. Strange to be in this seat position, but
Yeah.
delighted, buzzing and excited to see how it unfolds.
Well, it's gonna be the first time. Well, I'm interviewing my boss right here, but everyone might have known he's everyone's boss, you know.
Not really, but
But yeah,
yeah, we'll see.
he's the big man himself. He's just. Well, firstly, when I
Yeah,
start off with question one, you want to start off with questions?
yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Go
no
for it.
problem.
Yeah. So yeah, tell us about yourself. Who is Barry Dowling?
Yeah, good question to start off with. So, born and raised in Stanmore, Harrow, northwest London. To two Irish parents, and I'm the youngest of three. So I've got two oldest sisters. Very close family we are. We grew up, and looking back at my childhood, everything went in the direction I wished it to be. I think
Lovely.
looking at how my parents did everything the best they could allowed me to have the childhood and everything that I needed. I think the innocence of myself is one quality that I look at now and strive towards that for myself as I go through the highs and lows of life.
Yeah.
I think from a very early age, I was fortunate to have a close circle of friends through primary school, secondary school, now even into our adult years. And it's nice to see that those friendships have not changed too much. So I've had a very good grounding, upbringing. And as a result of that, because I feel lucky, I want to pass those good experiences as best onto other people through the love and connection and purpose that I have.
So obviously you got two sisters and you got your mum and dad. How is it like being like, the only the only guy, like the guy in the family and the youngest as well?
Yeah, I was known as the baby. So I was, and even to this day, my mum could regard me as the baby, even if I'm in my later 30s. So it's, no, it was nice. It was nice. I felt, as the only boy, my dad then obviously seen that, and his upbringing was a very different one to myself in rural Ireland in the 60s. And he was one of 10. So he had a lot of responsibility looking after the farm, and as a substitute to his education, he had to kind of focus towards work. But then I look at that and see, and my mum as well, hard working on a farm as well.
Yeah.
And I look at those qualities, and it allowed me to become a person that valued hard work.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate the little things.
Yeah.
And as being a boy, I ventured into boyish things like sport and football, and a lot of my friends were doing that at the same time.
I mean, obviously football, that's like your main passion, you'd say. Like, tell us a little bit about where that started. Like, obviously, how did you get into football? Obviously your early years, career. Let's hear a bit about that.
Yeah. The headline I'd like to put of my football career is average at best. And
Is that being harsh, or is that just the way you feel?
I do feel like if I had to look at the different concepts and levels and progress, like, listen, I'm not disheartening myself or discrediting myself, but I also knew that I wasn't good enough to become a professional footballer. And
it's really hard to be a professional footballer. I think many people at home would be on the same, like, if you're playing football, like, for your local club, or you're playing in your Sunday leagues, like, you'd never feel like you'd make it as a football player.
Yeah.
And there is stories where they do, but...
Well, I was fortunate again to be at an early age of, it must have been 6, 7, 8, all of us football mad at the school. And in those friendship groups, that's all we ever did at playtime. we were then playing for our local Sunday league team.
Yeah.
And we were just fortunate. We had a very, very good, strong team. And that self-awareness, because I wasn't one of those starting team players, I was the squad player, the substitute, me and my closest pal, we realised straight away, oh, we're not that good in comparison to the boys that were starting. And
but
lo and behold,
they
all got scouted.
Did you, like, in that team, obviously you're playing with all these boys that were really good at football, did that team see you, like, to have value? Because obviously everyone in the squad should be valued.
Yeah.
How did you feel that you had a place in the squad, even though you're saying that you weren't as good as the other guys?
Yeah, so I played as a left back, or pretty much left back or left mid sometimes if I'd adventure in my teenage years. And that is only because in a natural team setting, there's going to be a vast majority right-footed players and only a select few that play on the left side with their left foot. And I was useless with my right foot still to this day.
Oh, gosh.
And left back was the less, in my head, difficult position to play. Yeah. And I could slot in and out whenever they needed me. But going back to how I was valued, I was instantly accepted socially. So I didn't come away looking at that experience as a bad one or like a negative. I was still with my friends, my superstar mates that were playing and went on to play at academy levels and professionally. They were still my friends, still to this day.
Yeah.
And then I'm still friends with the ones that couldn't kick a ball the same time as I couldn't. So
because
socially it's an important part of football to socialise. That's why you become connected, and I was able to luckily be accepted in that.
Yeah, like I feel socialising, and especially in sport, is a very it's a big topic in football. Like when you got people that are probably not very social, they like to keep to themselves, but football sort of gets them that sort of like common ground where people can talk to each other and, you know, talk to each other about football, talk to each other about even other topics.
Yeah.
Is that what you notice? Like when you're with like your friends and you're playing football, but you got other people that might join the team later on, like new players that come in and people that go and do other things. How was that sort of like when you were playing football?
I didn't see it as a challenge. It goes back to family upbringing and friendship groups and like luckily just having an innocent childhood. So if there were new faces that came in or old faces that left, I didn't get too disheartened by it. So the time when that team did disperse, and basically it happened where it under 10s in year 5, under 11s, year 6, around those age groups, can't remember it specifically.
Yeah.
We won everything. We won the treble. We went abroad into Holland to play in a tournament.
That must have been fun.
It was great because we won. We won everything. So we're thinking we're going to play at the international stage professionally, like to a certain extent. For those players that were
at
good
least
enough.
Another level above where you were originally at, and you're winning everything.
Exactly. And from that experience, it was great to win and be part of it, but I wasn't the player that literally was coming off the pitch sweating with all these cuts because I've had so many minutes playing. It was more, I was watching from the sidelines, and I didn't obviously like it. I think there was a time where I broke down crying, not in those particular finals, but there was one league game, and I just remember the manager saying, "You'll go get on. Don't worry, you go get on."
But you didn't.
We didn't. There was a few times where we didn't, but I think it was for that particular time.
Yeah.
He gave me the wrong information, or shouldn't have said that as a child, because then I'm like, right.
You're expecting it.
I'm expecting it then.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. So
it's a letdown.
I got McDonald's afterwards. Let's just
there you go.
Let's just say I got a few McDonald's throughout my childhood football career that allowed it to become all right.
I was similar, to be honest. I used to go swimming lessons, and my dad would just it'll be like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And I would not want to wake up, but the only time I want to wake up is when I want McDonald's breakfast.
There we go.
And I get 2 hash browns, I'll be happy.
There we go.
So yeah, that's so on to another question. Let's think about your first ever achievements. Obviously, you said you won the treble in a football club. Um, Even from outside football, what is the achievements you achieved as a child, as you bring them on like towards adulthood, that you're really proud of, and that even other people, your friends, family, would be feeling proud of what you've done?
I think, like I said, I keep putting it towards family, parents giving me the Disneyland childhoods that every parent and family would love for their child to have. So they smashed it in that regard. So that allowed me as an adult to think, of course, there's new ways of thinking as you become a teenager and into your adult years.
Yeah.
But I do believe that as adults, we lose our innocence, and rightly so at times. But I think there's things that could help us even further in our adulthood if we were to bring back our childhood. And what I mean by that, for example, is how excited we get over exploring new things. As an adult, we get scared to explore new exciting things because it's all crazily unknown. Whereas as a child, it's really exciting because we go on an adventure.
And there's also the things in particular, like as an adult, you might be interested in adult sort of things that children will probably be like, what is this? Like, let's say you want to start a business. That's like the best example that I can give. Like a child starting a business, they think lemonade stand, let me sell some lemonade. I don't know, something like that, you know, something childish where they'll be like, I want to do this. Like, you know, like as a kid, I was one of those kids who were like, oh, let me just try and make something and try and sell it. Like, and obviously I didn't do it. But when you're an adult, you think really like hard and critical. Yeah. And that level kids can't operate. So what do you say about?
It's true. It's stages of life. I think I've said it a few times before. I'm an overthinker. I do analyze and evaluate things. I don't necessarily understand a lot of complicated stuff, so I try and live it in a simple formula of how things work. And if it goes and becomes too difficult to process, I've got to ask the question whether it's the right thing I'm spending my time and energy on. And I think as adults, you start becoming a lot more sensitive and aware of the different influences and dynamics of a subject or of a relationship, of a career, a job, a business. As a child, you're just going into it very innocently. And I think that innocence is also a strength because you build that experience and then that should shape you. But most people then get disheartened by the experiences that don't meet expectation.
Yeah, because there's always, like, in life you get a few sudden surprises, let's say, that obviously knock you off your porch. And it's like, when you are facing them, the ability as an adult to make a decision, like to get around it, is much easier than a child. And that's why, you know.
Yeah, I've two ways I've seen that. I think decisions can be difficult as adults. I think sometimes being indecisive is also an issue. Yeah. But life is, you've got to make decisions. And I think one thing I look at now from my football journey, whether it's being a player, a young player, or now in the coaching world, is we've got to encourage decision making, so that people feel there's a bit of ownership and guidance towards the direction they want to take their lives.
Yeah, of course. And also, like, when we talk about decision making, I want to ask you, where do you value your decision making skills? So, like, as a coach, for example, what would you say is your main strengths?
I look at decision making and I go, we've got to make hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, like, over our lifespans, even into the millions. Like, for example, the first decision you tend to make when you wake up is, am I going to get out of the bed? Yeah, I think that's one of the first.
Do you get out of bed?
Of course not. If there's times where I can stay in bed, I will stay in bed. Yeah. And then there's other times where you go, oh no, I've got bigger bad are responsibilities that need to be addressed. So that gets you out of the bed a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I also think there's a saying I live by, which is doing the right thing is always the right thing. And I've learned that through just understanding sometimes you're not always going to win from your decisions, but the decisions that you make will at the end allow you to look back at yourself and go, did I make the best right out of that circumstance?
Yeah.
Did I make the best out of that situation from the decisions I knew?
And the thing is with decisions, like, it's not always positive. There can be decisions where you'd have to sacrifice something, or you have to go through a negative path just to get it clear.
Yeah.
And it's like, for example, breakups. That's one of those decisions where you know it's going to be bad for you in the short term, but in the long term it might benefit you because you learn something from it. And those type of decisions, obviously, like, it depends on the situation, but you know, once you get used to making the hard decisions, the easy ones, you know, they seem easy.
And so, great point. That's the kind of quality of decision you make, an easy one versus a harder one. We got to get into the repetition of how many decisions are we making a day. And if it's the case in certain relationships, so if you look at the parent versus child, if the child is always making the decisions,
Yeah.
then the parent feels like they're, what's the term, losing a little bit of ownership of how they want to parent their child, and vice versa. Now, there's no one way or the other. There's just a blended approach. And I think encouraging decision making, whether it's within coaching, teaching, relationships, life, we've got to just go through the repetitions of hundreds of thousands of decisions, so it becomes, oh yeah, these are the harder ones, these are the easier ones, and then from it we become a little bit more clearer of how we're navigating our lives. Yeah, it's a little bit washy, but that's how I believe. Can go through the volume.
Yeah, of course. Like, you just need to find your flow, like find stability. Like, for example, trying to get yourself a mortgage. That's one of those ones where you're making that decision to settle down.
Yeah.
Who you settling down with?
Yeah.
What is your plans? What's your career plans? Is your job near your home? You know, all those things when you're making that decision to move to a place of, like, you know, where you want to live.
So my point on that, so for example, the volume, like, of decisions, when people ask those bigger questions, mortgage, family, settling, careers, I think going back to the child versus the adult, or the innocence versus the, what we'd call the experience, is the experience know that that's not just the definitive decision.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Can you marry more than once?
Depends on someone's opinion.
Okay. Has it happened in reality that someone has married more than once?
Not in my life. Not from the people that I know, or I know people that could have.
There you go. Okay. Not personal relationships, but you know factually.
When you mean by married?
So they've been married second time, third time, fourth time.
Oh, I thought you were talking about marrying 2 or 3 wives. Like, oh.
No.
Okay. Yeah. With that, then yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Someone who's innocent will only think you do that decision once.
Yeah. That is true.
Whereas someone who's obviously lived through their third, fourth, fifth marriage, they're going, well, I'm still on the search. These decisions, I keep messing up, but it's down to them whether they feel that that's their fault or someone else's.
We can direct this question to honesty and lies, because that decision of you not sharing information with someone and affecting them in the long run because you've been hiding that, because you made a decision to hide it from them.
What do you mean?
So let's bring it back to the marriage one.
Yeah.
If you've been married 3 times, the other married once, and you tell the other that you've never been married, you're lying to them. And if they figure it out, I don't know what the reaction would be, but it wouldn't be quite positive, the lie. Like, I don't think anyone is happy with lies. So, like,
no, I agree. I think it's about just being aware that decision making in general is you've got to own whatever path you take.
Yeah.
If you want to lie or tell the truth, going back to my mantra of doing the right thing is always the right thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit well with me later on when I'm in my own space.
Yeah.
If I'm lying, whereas someone else can comfortably feel good about themselves or fine about themselves by doing those white lies, but over accumulation, that's where people and relationships start to go in different paths.
And sticking to the topic of decision making, just one more thing.
Yeah.
If as an adult, if you're making a decision,
Yeah.
and you got a wife, you got a child,
Yeah.
and that decision is going to determine their future.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to make that decision? So, for example, we're going to go back to the moving house, getting a mortgage.
Yeah.
You're moving house because you got a job somewhere else, and your wife works somewhere else.
Yeah.
You need to convince your wife to try and, like, there's so many factors. The child in school, they're settled down. How does those decisions be made, and how do you think that, how do you think it should basically be made? Like, how should they an adult come across that sort of thing?
Perfect. It's called communication, which for human beings struggle. Yeah, because we only want to hear our version of the story. So, for example, in that scenario of the husband, or I think you're alluding to the guy.
A family, yeah.
Yeah. If you're using that word convince, he is misleading, right, his partner, spouse, and family to do something on his gain.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, doing the right thing is always the right thing. I'd ask the question, is he protecting and helping the whole collective of his family, knowing that he's trying to convince the rest of them that this is a good idea? Same point. If they all believe it and genuinely want to do that, then it's a win.
Yeah.
Right? It's only if you're using that word convince, I'd be questioning it and going, why does he have to convince?
Yeah.
If he has to communicate and there's disagreement and misunderstanding, there needs to be, in any relationship, compromise in order for there to be an overall, like, collective mission that the family are going on. Because ultimately, there could be so many different ways to play this out.
But then this could also lead to the decision where a partner would have to break up with the other because of a career-focused mind.
Correct.
And obviously, I want to ask you this question. It's not going to be a difficult question to answer, but I want to know, are you more career-driven or are you more family-driven?
I'll break it down further, going back to the overthinker of me. I'll analyse that question and go, it's the wrong question to ask if you're just trying to get one person to describe their full identity of life.
Yeah.
And then I go, life is a book, right, or seasons, meaning there's chapters of what's going to be told of that particular time and stage of life. So if you're answering me,
I'm going to ask you...
Ask me directly now.
I'm not going to ask you directly. Maybe now you've spoken about the book. In your chapter right now,
Yeah.
with HYA going on,
Yeah.
we're doing podcasts, we're doing the media, we are having parents that want their child to be playing football.
Yeah.
You have loads of parents asking you questions. Do you value that a lot at the moment? Or would you rather be with your family and be, just chilling, having a nice time, which you have every right to do. And you do that, obviously, when you're away from work.
Yeah.
But what is your sort of, like, I'm at ease, I'm at peace when you're doing something?
Yeah. This ain't to preach to anyone, because it's not them to listen in and go, oh, wow, how does he do it that way? So this is what I just generally believe. And then it's for someone else to either agree, disagree, and then move on with their lives. Because I've got no influence or authority to tell someone else how to live their lives.
Yeah, everyone, like anyone watching, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Just don't do anything crazy.
So on that point, I look at, there's a concept of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I'm going a little bit technical here.
Yeah, a little bit of philosophy here, isn't it?
A bit of philosophy. And for us as humans, I think it's humans, or is it living species, to have the basics of of our needs, right, met. We need to have physical, mental, well, mental's a little bit further higher, but in terms of our well-being, we need shelter, we need food, all right, we need a safe place, right, whether that's a home, right, a flat, just a place where we belong.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, as we go further through the pyramid, then it comes to what are we trying to pursue, what are we trying to be known as, what are we trying to gain. Yeah. So if I'm looking at the foundation, the first principle, I'm going, in order for me to survive in the big bad world, right, you do need to pour into your cup.
Yeah.
You do need to have your career or your job or your business, right?
That's survival, isn't it?
It is creating that blanket of, I can just survive on these basics. It doesn't have to be lavish. It could be just, this is how I pay my bills, this is how I pay for my food, this is how I pay for my transport, right? And then you further expand to what's the next new thing you're working towards, which could be looking after more people. And that could be within a business, that could be within your family. There's no rights or wrongs.
No, of course. And even if you got like a pet at home that you can look after, like that's plenty if you're happy. And after that's the main thing. As long as you live your life to where you're happy.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
And I agree. It's pursuit of you having a clear vision of what you're working towards that makes you happy. So it's meaningful work.
Yeah.
I think if you have meaningless work, whether it's your formal job or just your personal responsibilities as a family member, then you're going to unravel fairly quickly when it becomes meaningless. So in my season of life right now, I want to pour into HYA because it gives me so much meaning. It connects to what my childhood was in terms of an average footballer at best.
And you get to see journeys of, you're like seeing yourself in all these children that are playing football.
Yeah, it's that feel-good factor that I received luckily through friends and family and community that I'd like to continue passing that baton onto the next encounter of family, friends and community that I engage with.
Yeah, I mean, what I was feeling when I started working for HYA, I was not really sure what it really was. And I did mention this in the podcast that we did, my one when I was speaking. And now that it's been I'd say about 6 months in, like to my HYA journey, I'm sort of starting to understand how the children think and the difference between an adult's mindset and a child's mindset, a parent's, how we all see HYA, but it's all like under one philosophy where we're trying to have fun, we're trying to create something, we're trying to create happiness, we're trying to like joy in football. And that's what parents see, that's what we see, that's what the child sees. And even if a child's having a rough day, they know that they're going to come back again, they're going to do well. And also when a child does have a rough day, we as coaches and as like individuals, we are there for the child to protect them and solve their issues.
I think that's what gives us the drive of turning up every day. It's I think after a while, if you're just pouring everything into your own cup, the cup's going to overspill. There's not enough room to fill it. Oh, sorry, there's too much room. Get my words wrong here. There's
right.
There's basically an overfill.
Yeah.
So what happens then? You're not happy because you could have lots of things going on in an outside looking in, going, oh, that's all great, but ultimately on your reflection of yourself, you might be wanting to help someone else because of all the good experiences and rewards and treats and whatever that you've received.
Yeah.
And I feel that's what I've experienced is I didn't want to continue just building a career where I'm just self-fulfilled, like I'm just gaining off myself.
Yeah.
I think the nature of playing in a team, whether it's football or the game of like life, is having a core team around you and you're able to share the same values, beliefs. And if you do that, then the connection you have is that people feel understood.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're able to then work in alignment, and there's less friction happening because you're building towards the same vision.
Yeah, and obviously your love for the football, drives your motivation, isn't it? Like to obviously look after and nurture children, and also provide them like with some of your knowledge of the best that you can do in the game.
Yeah, I see football, like the sport, the subject, however you want to categorize it as, I genuinely just see it as a tool, right? And what I mean by that is we get attracted to it because we could see it on the TV.
Yeah.
Right. We constantly talking about it in this country and now around the world because it is the most popular sport.
Yeah, it's big.
And then there's so many different layers to understand the game or the concept of football because it's distributed at every level. So where we're working in the community at Grassroots Foundation is we've got the privilege to give them the best first introduction to football.
Yeah.
And if we can serve that purpose, then it gives us fulfillment that we're doing a good job. It also gives, as a byproduct, the child and the family, right, and maybe the community, a sense of belonging, right? Yeah. And they've got the aspirations to dream because of how lucrative the subject, the sport is.
Yeah, 100%. Another question I got, well, I've got loads in it, but when you're working on the job at HYA and you're working with younger coaches such as Amoy, Regan, Jamar, Dre, even like, all these coaches that you're working under.
Dre's older.
Dre's older? No, he's 21.
Sorry, Dre.
Yeah, he's 21.
He's 21.
He's 21, yeah?
21 twice.
Don't upset him, okay?
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, when you're working with younger coaches or coaches with less experience than you.
Yeah.
What is the direction when you approach them? How do you feel they're doing?
Yeah. This is what I really love. Like, this is why I just got chills there, because if I could unlock a coach's potential, I see that as me then unlocking X amount of children that I could only do by myself.
You're the coach's coach.
So if I can support a coach
yeah.
who can go and impact another 10, 20, 30, 100 kids, whatever it is, then that gives me so much fulfillment, because then I know they feel that they're being supported and connected.
Yeah.
Right. Because of the value that they provide to the children and their families.
Yeah.
So why I love that is because then we're making, as I said from the start, a better world, a better community. So people feel that they look forward to something, whether it is your coach's journey, whether it is you, the child, the player's journey, or whether it's the parent watching their child go through that journey.
Yeah.
So I see it threefold of HYA. And the first thing I've said to myself is I need to work with coaches closely, because if they don't get the support and attention they are deservedly needing, then we're not going to give the best outcome to the players and children and families that they are expecting afterwards.
Yeah.
It is a journey. Everyone is on a journey. I'm on a journey. I think you're on a journey.
Yeah.
But when we're, again, around the right table and people are talking in optimism, but hard work, right, good values,
yeah,
learning new skills, disrupting our current belief systems, and just trying to figure things out every single day, then I'm like, I'll buy that 10 times round. Like, I want to be part of that. I don't want to be in a predictable like job or lifestyle that doesn't make me fulfilled because of the unknown.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And in coaches' journeys, it's all unknown because there's always another layer or level to get to of impact and yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, where you're always leveling up, but at the same time you're sticking to it.
Yeah, the consistency is so important, really, really important. And why I say that is because when you connect with a player, they build a really strong bond and relationship with that coach.
Yeah.
Eventually, they do have to part ways, right? That is life, right? And we have to deal with that.
Yeah, like with football
circumstance.
players, they have so many coaches when they're through their journey.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So then the quality of adapting and expecting change is also a life skill, because things out of our control that happens.
Yeah.
And we need to adapt very sensibly so that we don't just become emotional to going back to our decisions and make more wrong decisions.
Yeah.
So we're trying to think logically towards how we can support people with strong relationships, connections, worthwhile moments, but then also have that edge that change is going to happen, and I'm going to be okay when that happens to
Yeah,
me.
and also for me myself, being part of the change that you're trying to create at HYA, and being part of what the new ideas and new things that we want to do, is really been a pleasure, and I really like it.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
so
well,
like,
that's probably why we're sticking around a lot more.
I'm gonna bring it back
Yeah.
to childhood.
Yeah.
What were you like in school?
Yeah. I was, again, going back to just connecting dots. I wasn't like a rude child or a badly behaved child, and I don't think there's children that are seen as bad and good. That even though we go one or the other, there's just stories in it. My story is very quiet, very timid, had lacked confidence. But on the flip side, with not being vocal, it allowed me just to pick things up by observations.
Did you make friends like quite easily?
Easily. Not because of my introverted approach. I was, like I said, keen to play football. I genuinely don't know how I got started. I can't remember the first session. Vaguely, and I'm very terrible with like early years memories. Vaguely, I remember in year 2, like in year 1, I must have supported Man United.
You should have stuck with it. I mean, maybe not, but
So this is it. Yeah, I started.
what team do you support now?
And then in year 2,
Yeah.
because all of my mates and one of my closest mates, who was like the best footballer in our class,
Yeah.
like we're all Arsenal, I went, I think I can go to Arsenal. So I think the rule I've put in my head, I don't know if this is universal, is at the age of year 2, which is years 6 and 7
Yeah,
years old,
age 6 or 7.
you're allowed to change club.
Really?
Anything afterwards, you can't change club.
Nah.
And the reason why I say that rule is because a lot of parents will tell their child,
Yeah,
you have to support the team I support.
I think my dad was one of them, but at the same time, I actually liked United,
Mm.
and I feel like I've always liked Rooney. I always liked like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Well, listen, you going in your childhood years, that was the right time to be supporting United.
No, I mean I didn't get much.
You got a good
I got
start.
a glimpse.
Yeah, you got a little start, and you thought that was it.
They what you call it? It's like, you know, when you sign up for something, they make it sound all good.
Yeah.
And afterwards it just turns to shit.
This is it.
Well,
You've opened that door, and no one's in that room apart
Exactly.
from yeah.
So, any fun stories from school? Like, you ever done anything stupid? Ever got yourself into trouble? Any mischief?
Yeah, there was one time, and I've got to blame my sister for this. So
Cool.
I was in year 6. My sister was in year 11 at the time.
Okay.
And she, as the older sibling, was a bit rebellious. So she would like go in on the occasion bunking off school.
Oh,
There was a
gosh.
time where my mum, so dad was always out, like from early o'clock, like 5 o'clock in the morning to
Yeah.
like 5 o'clock in the evening. So I've never seen him during the day. Mum would normally do nights as a nurse, but she'd occasionally do the day shifts as well. There's one time when I was in year 6, and my sister wasn't going to school that day because mum was at work.
Yeah.
And she just thought to ask me the question, do you fancy taking off school? Like I didn't know it was a concept that you could take like days off school unless you were ill, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, but as bunking, I didn't know what that concept was. So going back to the innocence of me, and I went, yeah, all right, yeah. And then I was like, cool, this is cool. like, what are we supposed to do today? So, like, I would have rather been at school with my mates, like, playing football at lunchtime.
Instead, you're just giving
and
your
stuff
sister
like that. I
company.
didn't know what we were doing. So, it turned out we went to the CAF that's next to her high school.
Okay.
And I was in there. She was, like, showing off that she was bunking, like, because she was in her own clothes with a few of our other friends that bunked off, and I was there as well in my own clothes. And then one of her teachers came in to the CAF, as they usually do in their lunchtime, like, spot checks.
Just wrong place and wrong time.
Yeah, and, like, we didn't think of anything of it. My sister kind of, in her teenage strut, like, just said to the teacher when she got challenged, like, yeah, I'm ill, like, my parents know, blah, blah, blah. Teacher leaves, and then we think, all good. Yeah, we stay there for another 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Next thing, the door just bangs open.
Oh, no.
And you see my mum walking in.
Is she angry?
She's vexed, yeah.
She's vexed.
And I'm like, oh, no, what's going on?
Was it towards you? Did you get a lot
No,
of it?
she was angry at, obviously, my sister. She
what happened with you? You got away with it?
No, well, here's the thing. She brought us back home. She then, my mum took me to the school, which is literally just down the road. I'm flooding in tears, crying, because I'm so distraught, like, man, in terms of being in trouble. So I remember that vividly. And then my sister didn't care whatsoever when she was sent towards her school.
Yeah.
She was just in that rebellious, like, finishing school, didn't know what she was, like, caring too much about her GCSEs at the time.
Yeah.
But me, on the flip side, I was that innocent kid and got kind of my, tuppence towards bunking. So,
well,
that was it.
First time for everything, I guess.
First time, and then I think, there could have been a couple of times in high school that happened, but
ever got in any relationships or anything in high school, or even later on in life?
Yeah, one in, I think it was in primary school. I think there was a time where...
You had a primary school girl?
Yeah, it's weird. In primary school, we all had girlfriends, and that was, it was innocent. Like, we'd go on little double dates, in the sense of to the shops, like to the town centre and stuff like that. But we went, I think we'd go up to, like, the local swimming pool and stuff. Oh. Our mums would be taking us, like, and just sitting in the cafes and stuff.
That's what mums do.
Yeah. So that was quite innocent and nice. And then, to be honest, in my adult life, not many relationships, just one in the last few years. Yeah. And that was nice. It was nice.
Still with her?
No. We broke up about 2 years ago. I'd say about now, just coming up to 2 years. Yeah. Just two different people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And going back to decision making and the hard decisions, I respect her, because it was very much, as soon as we don't feel aligned and connected, it's just easy that we just respect each other's time and go separate ways.
I mean, that's something where, two people need to be sort of in agreement most of the time, and if it happens, it's a bit difficult. But hey, guys, I mean, if Barry, we got Barry here.
What's this, an advert for Tinder?
Why not? All
right, we'll give
you a couple, a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Take a few days off work.
Go send an email to the boss.
So, being a football coach, I've got a few coaching questions. What is your vision for football and the game, the way you see it at the moment?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I don't delve too much about the bigger picture of football too much now. I do think the way the world is going, and how football has evolved, there's lots and lots of resources available now, right? And what I mean by that, technology's advanced, lots more interest in around a industry that's lucrative for the top percentage.
Most
the professional, when you say professional, you look at the lower levels of professional, they're still living an average life. Yeah, but the sound of a professional footballer sounds glamorous.
Yeah.
Right? But when you look at TV football, like your Champions League and your Premier League and World Cups, then obviously it's generational wealth. like that they're receiving.
Yeah.
So I get why there's so much interest towards it.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's losing sometimes the value of what football is, and
Yeah.
we can become too analytical. We could become too
Absorbed in like.
yeah, just like not enjoying the 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 pureness of what it's supposed to be, which is
Yeah.
a game of enjoyment.
Yeah.
So I think we just rob people and children of that because we're trying to get them to their next level. And truthfully, it's like, let them be a child and let them just enjoy it. And
Yeah.
then once they don't enjoy it, then they can move on to something else. But I think parents and adults, we mess that up more times than not.
Yeah, I mean, apart from football, what were your other hobbies? Did you have anything you liked doing back in the day?
Do you know what? I was your typical boy. Coming from an Irish family, is that football or Gaelic football, which is the Irish equivalent.
Yeah.
So that was me. Look, pretty much sorted. Did other activities, swimming, tennis. I liked at primary school. Did a little bit of music, but wasn't
into it.
Wasn't
too much.
majorly into it. Drama. Did a little bit, but not majorly into it. So people would have just seen me as the football kid, like in the sense, just being out kicking a ball all the time, and because like I said, all of my mates were doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
It just fitted well.
Yeah, of course.
I look back now, and I wish I could have explored a bit more in what my pain points are as an adult. So the explanation to that, I'm now always curious to know how I could become fitter, healthier, and improve my well-being.
Yeah.
One of that is through mobility and flexibility. As a kid, I'd love to have done more gymnastics now. So that would have been, but at the time, if you asked me as a 6, 7, 8-year-old, football was the answer.
Football is the answer, yeah. And even for me, I was like, just always football crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I always find other interests, of course, but when it comes to the main one that stuck with me since I was like 3 or 4, football.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Why was it? Because of just families?
Just family watching it on TV, replicating what other players do, you know, the skills. I watch Ronaldinho.
This is
so
it.
like, yeah.
It's the access. Yeah.
One more, well, got a few more questions, but we're going to have to hurry up a little bit, isn't it?
Oh, listen, I'm enjoying
it. You good?
This. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So what is difficult when coaching and managing behaviour issues when it comes to children? Like, obviously...
Yeah. This probably stems into my teaching hat and being an educator is behaviour management is a definite challenge for everyone.
Yeah.
And where we use the kind of black and white A and B option, so it's like it's either this option or that option, they're either good or they're bad.
Yeah.
I disagree with that because there's what I call the grey or the colour, right? That is, everyone's got a story behind why they're behaving the way they are. And we've got influence to that. And sometimes we don't have influence to that. So behaviour management, first and foremost, is understanding who that person is you're talking to and learning from them.
Yeah.
If you are not prepared to do that, you'll go find it difficult to manage behaviour. Yeah. Yes, there are people that are very effective with their different strategies, and what I mean by that, someone could be a very good strict coach, strict teacher, strict parent.
Yeah.
Right. And that works well for them. If someone is not naturally aligned to that value and they try and force upon that, they get seen very quickly, and people will not regard them as that authoritative figure. So there's two ways. You can either level up and get better at it, or you can lean into what's your X factor, what I call, which is what you're naturally good at.
Yeah.
And usually if you listen in, learn, and start asking questions and building it could be a friendly relationship, even if it's a professional one, right? Or just going above and beyond the normal expectation of a conversation and checking in with them like every time you see them. those little moments makes the relationship and behaviour management so much easier. But we miss, I think a lot of us either forget it or don't value it enough to be that consistent.
Yeah, I know, I agree with you, because yeah. What has been your biggest highlights in the journey you've gone so far? As in, like, obviously you coached many places in the world.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the story you told me. You can tell the audience about the USA trip
Yeah.
or America.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend it to someone who's seriously thinking about coaching or youth development or working in education, and this is probably a contradiction of me, is to get out of your environment of what you currently know.
Yeah.
And when I did that and went to America, and I absolutely loved it because it's just me as a 20-year-old traveling around for a couple of months in the summer to different locations in Northwest America and Canada. I was able to see, one, a different part of the world, two, do it whilst coaching, which is something I really was keen to kick on with as a 20-year-old. And then afterwards, understand what their version of this global phenomenon is of football.
Yeah.
So by me going out that way, I was able to live in with families for a week whilst I was coaching their child and other children in the community.
Yeah.
I was seen as, not just me, but like the brand of the company I was working for, like these mega superstar British coaches coming over, right, and teaching their local children the game of football.
Yeah.
So it put us on a pedestal, but I suppose I took a lot of responsibility because I wanted to become that professional coach, and I was already on the path to doing that by getting my first couple of coaching badges early.
Yeah.
So in that, they thought, why not go and give me, which I don't think is normally the situation when you first start, to give me a location, a town to coach by myself with no other coaches around. Usually you coach in a team of, like, depending on the size of the camp, maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe up to 10, 15 coaches, just depending on how many kids that they were serving for that week. Yeah. They just gave me the keys to a car and said, you're 5 hours that way once I landed in Seattle. And that in its experience to go figure things out and just solve the problem of how do I get out of the...
What was that drive like? Because it's a 5-hour drive. What was it like?
Boring at times, if I'm being completely honest, because it's just straight highway road.
Any music in the car?
Yeah, of course. It was nice. Then, like, I was pinching myself moments to go, what am I doing? Am I even allowed to be in the situation I am right now? Because you always look at yourself.
you think you're like, oh, wait, what am I doing?
Exactly. Yeah. And the first question why I asked that of myself was, how the hell am I getting out of the airport car park? Because I didn't know how to start the car.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to drive on the other side of the road. So it was just, like I said, figuring things out. But I loved it because, like I said, the uncomfortable and the unknown is where you grow the most.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right. I mean, obviously you've gone to a different environment. You're driving on your own. What were the people like? What was the culture like in America?
Great. Absolutely loved us. Families that you could spend the rest of your lives connecting with, which I did. Like, there was one family who just kept saying, when are you next coming over? Like, my kids are distraught that you've gone back. Are you, like, signing up for next year? And regrettably I didn't, right? And the only reason I didn't is because I was a second year going into my third year, and all I was stressing about, and I shouldn't be, but as an overthinker, this is me.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I just need to be good enough to pass my degree now and focus on that. And then after the next big hurdle was, I need to be good enough to go get a job. So I didn't really think of going out again to America because I just thought I was wasting my time. But it's clearly the opposite, because imagine if I did, I'd have built, again, more relationships and stronger relationships with the families that I knew that were loving what we were doing, and who knows what would have happened if I took that path. So sometimes you have to live in regret because you took a decision, but other decisions didn't pay off.
Yeah, is there ever a time where at work or even in the past when you're working other jobs that you felt like you didn't want to work there, you didn't feel welcomed, or you felt overwhelmed? You got any stories like that?
Yeah, I do think this happens in someone's stage of their career, and it's when you feel you can't grow or you can't do what you believe in. And in those times when the big question is, when do you move like jobs or change careers or move on to something else or get promotion, is when you feel like you've sussed out everything
Yeah.
and it becomes very predictable and you still can't change the things that you'd love to change. In those situations, and I'm talking about myself in my previous job, you should, in my opinion, have a serious chat with the people around you, whether it's directly with work colleagues or family members,
Yeah.
to know whether you should be staying that path or pivoting into something else.
Also, if football never existed, or the idea of being a football coach, or anything to do with football, if that never existed, what would have been the career that you would have opted for?
Some form of a coach, and I use the word broadly coach because, like going back to the whole football subject or football coach, I
It's
use
a
that as a
tool.
tool.
Yeah.
So I love the satisfaction of someone figuring out that they can achieve more than what they first thought they could.
Mm.
So that satisfaction of coaching and supporting someone along their journey to discover themselves to become even greater is self-fulfilling.
Yeah, I mean, so if you had to do a podcast, I know I'm just saying questions right now, we're not really having a discussion, but if you had to do a podcast with one person, dead or alive, what would it be? Who would it be? It's a difficult one.
There's so many of like role models that I feel we have.
Yeah, like,
So it couldn't be just one. There's like a category of people I'd love to be in the room with and listen and ask questions upon.
is there one person that you know has all those qualities that you just want to like ask them, maybe spend a whole day with them talking?
Going back to my overthinking, I genuinely don't think it's going to be like if they give me the, because I've consumed, I'm talking about like maybe business people, entrepreneurs, or people in coaching and education that are just wow. Like anytime they're in a room,
Yeah.
the pin, like a pin dropping, is heard because they've just got that full presence and authoritative figure that they
Yeah.
know what they've done it. They've got the experience.
Have you ever obviously you've spoken to loads of people, have you ever spoken to someone directly and you just felt like, wow, like,
Yeah, yeah.
you got a name or anything?
Well, I won't say it's a famous person,
Yeah.
but the process of where I felt, wow, this is incredible, was going through my coaching badge back in 2011.
Okay.
And that was my last coaching badge, which was my B license. And as a 21, I think I was 21 years old at the time.
Whoa. Yeah.
I still remember vividly the tutor giving me that wow factor of opening up this new level of football. And I think that's the case of when you go through the next door to the unknown of possibility,
Yeah.
the people that guide you of that, they've got such a huge influence. Now that person afterwards, we never connected or spoke again.
Oh, okay.
But that's not a bad thing.
It's just that one moment.
He's enlightened the vision of me then pursuing the coaching career that I've had over the last, say, 20 years.
And would you say, obviously I had a question in here saying, what advice have you been given that's really stuck to you? Would you say that was one of them, or you got any better ones? Like, what has been...
Do you know what it is? Do you know the question of what advice has been given to you or what advice would you give to others? I don't think it's a sit-down conversation. Advice is usually done through behaviour.
Yeah.
So what I mean is my parents gave me fantastic advice and never said a word to me. And you're like, how does that work?
Is it the actions that...
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the way they were. My dad, right, failed education. But in his teaching, right, he taught me hard work. He taught me humility. He taught me, he's got a saying that is do or die.
Yeah.
Right, do it or die. There's no point of thinking of anything else.
The moralities.
Yeah. So it's like, and that innate like rawness of how he was educated, and I'm not talking about school, I'm talking about his upbringing.
Yeah.
Gave me a profound approach and respect of who he was and the role model he became to me. Same with my mum, right? Same values in the sense of hard work, stretching yourself beyond what you can possibly do right now, and have an unconditional love. So I keep saying I'm very lucky and blessed with the family and friends and community that I was brought up with.
Yeah.
Innocent, very innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just a couple more left. You said you were especially shy.
Yeah.
And you were quite timid as a person. Obviously, what journey did you have to go through to sort of develop the confidence you have today? And what advice would you give someone that feels timid and shy and wants that sort of change in their confidence?
Okay, so couple key moments. I think luckily I fell into coaching due to the love of football. So I didn't know at the time, but looking back now, it becomes a bit clearer. By becoming a coach where you have to talk in front of people as a quiet, timid, shy person is terrifying.
Yeah.
So because of the connection of the tool of football, I didn't use that fear of who I thought I was become the person I am now. So I'm lucky that football's given me more than just the potential of becoming professional.
Yeah.
It gave me clarity of the person I would love to become, which is more confident. So then, as a domino effect, I became a coach and I wanted more in terms of a career and a stable financial being. So I was thinking maybe I need to become a teacher as well. I'm not smart enough to become a teacher, right? I don't know, right? I can talk football really well on a football pitch, but being on a classroom and being a teacher and talking theory, that was very uncomfortable. I still did it because it made me feel uncomfortable, because I was never going to be subjected to fear of not doing something that I'd like to do and explore.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be so many times in someone's life they're going to be asked the question, you've got to do something really difficult. You go do it, or you go just stay the same.
Yeah.
And those moments are going to really define someone's pathway. They can still revert back and go through difficult moments later on, but I always believe go through difficult first, then easy comes.
Yeah.
If you go through easy first,
yeah,
difficult's around.
Because before this episode, we filmed a video, didn't we? And that was the difficult.
What are you on about? It was a dream.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I think this is the dream. I think I've really enjoyed talking to you. Just to wrap this up, if you had to think of 3 words to describe your state of mind, your thinking towards the plans of HYA,
yeah,
the journey that you're going to be going through with HYA at the moment, what will be those 3 words? You can explain them if you want.
Okay, it's in the title. HYA is helping you achieve.
And that's the words you want to...
It's why I put, right, like we were originally called Hendon Youth Academy, right, which sounds prestigious, and it didn't align with who I am, who John Creef, right, and who the people around the club are building HYA for, which is everyone to achieve something. And whether we look at the child, the parent, the coach, my job is to get them to achieve something within their football journey concept and recognize it as that tool to build other skills that's going to serve them in their life.
And finally, what advice would you give to parents at the moment when they're seeing their child in HYA?
Just go and enjoy it. Ask questions. Feedback is fantastic for us to evolve and get better. But I think...
Enjoy your child being a child.
It goes back to one of those things.
Yeah.
Prolong the childhood, right? Because as soon as that's taken, Then you become a boring adult like me.
You're not that boring. We had fun today.
There we go.
Thank you. Pleasure, Barry, for being here.
No worries. Cheers, Aaron. It was fun.